So again, page 73, we're on page 73 here, we're going to look at reflections. Okay, page 73. And we're going to look at how to do reflections, and we're also going to, see what happens when we reflect and all that good stuff. All right. So we're actually going to do this little exploration here using our tracing paper to explore reflections. So we're going to draw and label a line L on tracing paper. In fact, let's just go ahead and let's just copy this shape onto our tracing paper. So take your patty paper there and just like kind of anywhere. Give yourself some space though. So, oh, it's frozen. Sorry about that. So take your tracing paper and kind of line it up on top of our picture here, and let's copy this picture. So let's use our straight edge here and get that line L. So copy line L here. Okay, and also copy point C and B and A and D. And then if you want to connect the dots, you can. I'm even going to copy the little arrows at the end of my line L. Yeah, we're on page 73. Page 73. Page 73. And I'll redraw this little shape here too. Okay. We're on page 73, okay, Curtis. So once you've kind of copied that picture there, so you can see again, we're on page 73, just copy that picture. So you'll see actually, we don't need to do it in this case. In this case, we don't need to. It's going to work out. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our paper. So to do this reflection, to reflect ABCD over this line L here, I'll put a little cursive L. To reflect ABCD over line L, what we're going to do is we're going to take our patty paper and we're going to fold right along our line of reflection here. So take your patty paper and fold so that you're folding right along the line of reflection. See, there's my line of reflection. I'm going to fold right on that line. Okay. So again, I've taken my patty paper. I traced that picture there on page 73. Folded my patty paper, and you can see through the paper there. You can see the original shape, right? You can see it. And so, in fact, I'm going to draw where A, B, C, and D are. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and draw those points like that. Okay, so again, your paper was like this, and you can fold the paper on top of it along that line of reflection, and then copy those points, A, B, C, and D, and now when I unfold my paper, I can see those points right there, okay? And then we're going to draw on those points. Okay, so draw on those points. We have to draw two sets of points. Okay, like that. And then you can connect the dots. All right. And the nice thing is, too, because we already drew on the back of those points, the points also transferred here onto our paper. And so we can actually just use those points right there, and then there's the reflection, okay, on the paper. So in this one, we don't have to really take an extra step to draw on the backs of our points. We already are drawing on the backs of our points. It's already kind of like part of the thing we have to do, and there's the reflection. Okay, there's the reflection. Question? Here.
For all the reflections that we do, is there always going to be a point touching the line?
So good question. Not always, no. Not always, no. Okay. So what happens to that point if it's on the line of reflection? When you reflect a point that's on the line of reflection, where does it go? stays the same spot. Exactly right. Okay? So C in this case is also C prime. Okay, what's the name of this point right here? Yeah, this is D prime. Let me kind of zoom in some here. You guys maybe have some trouble seeing. Okay. D prime right here. What's the name of this point? A prime, right? It reflected from A. And what's the name of this point? B prime. Okay? Now, notice here, B to B prime. If I were to connect that, okay, if I were to connect B to B prime there, and we create this like little segment here, okay, so this I'm kind of adding this part in. So from B to B prime, that segment, okay, what is line L doing to B, B prime? It's bisecting it. Exactly right. It's cutting it into two equal parts, right? B to the line is the same as the distance from the line to B prime, right? This distance here is the same as this distance here. It's not only bisecting it, but what angle is line L making with B, B prime? So it's not just a bisector, we call it a what bisector? Perpendicular bisector. Perpendicular bisector. That's what we, so right angle, but perpendicular is when two lines meet at a right angle. So this line L is the perpendicular bisector of B, B prime there. All right? That's like kind of our construction, remember? We do the football construction. Perpendicular bisector there. This is that perpendicular bisector. If you did the football construction to B, B prime, it would give you line L. What do you think is going to be true about line L and A prime? Is line L going to be the perpendicular bisector of A prime? Yeah, and D prime as well. Okay, so you can kind of see it's kind of connecting those big ideas there, right? Yes?
Okay, when I was transferring it, it was hard for me to see underneath it because I messed up twice because I couldn't see that. So should I just darken it?
Yeah, darken if you need to. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, darken if you need to. Absolutely. Okay, so that's right. That's the idea there. Let's see what else I want to say. Oh, and remember A, B, C, D, right? That shape will be congruent to A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. Remember that a reflection is what kind of motion? We call it rigid motion, a rigid motion. This is a rigid motion transformation. The shape moves, right, but it does not change its size, its shape, the side lengths, the angle measures, whatever. Okay, so it stays the same. Okay. All right, let's turn the page. So this kind of like is what we were talking about earlier here. So it says perpendicular lines are lines that intersect at right angles. In the figure, line L is perpendicular to line M. We've talked about that already. Okay, we've already talked about perpendicular bisectors too, right? How line N here is a perpendicular bisector of segment AB. And so then a reflection across a line L takes a point P and makes P prime here, so that basically line L is the perpendicular bisector, right? The distance from P to line reflection is the same as the line reflection's distance to P prime. Okay? So, let's take a look here about how to do reflections using our line of reflection right here, L. So we have a couple options. Option one, we could take our patty paper here, okay, and we could trace our line of reflection. Make sure you include the arrows too, because the arrows will help you to match up the length or the line there. Okay, so draw those arrows in, and we'll draw our line of reflection.
We don't draw the square boxes.
No, you don't need to draw the square boxes. We just need to copy A, B, and C. Okay, so trace A, B, and C and the line. Remember to put the arrows where the arrows are on the line so we can match it up correctly. Okay, it's important to do that. Match those arrows up correctly too. So A, B, and C. You can even label A, B, and C if you want to. I mean, that's fine. Okay, once you got A, B, and C, thank you. Okay, Corey, your presence is requested in the front office.
You see your president.
Presents.
Oh.
More than one present. Just kidding. It's just, they want him there. There you go. Thank you, Corey. I want you to be here too. Okay. So Now what do we do? I've traced everything. Now how do we actually do the reflection? Fold your paper, right? Along that line of reflection.
So wait,
Fold that paper along your line of reflection, and when I fold that paper, there it is lined up, right? Fold it over. Now I'm going to trace. Okay, we're going to trace A, B, and C. Okay, just like that. And then you can unfold the paper and transfer those points. Okay, you fold the paper, unfold the paper back over again, and then points transfer. Okay, A prime's already there marked for us. Let's go ahead and just connect the dots, get the other triangle there. You can use a straight edge, or I'm just going to freehand it because you can. You can't fold it right? You got it for him there, Courtney? Thank you. Yes? Okay, so an alternative, so that's an alternative here, so let's say that, so let's point that out, because Eli did that, that's fine. Okay, instead of folding your paper, Eli's like, Mr. Witt, it just flips over the line, and he's exactly right. So we could here, folks, instead of folding, and Tristan, you may want to pay attention for this too. You don't need to fold it, Tristan, if you're having trouble with it. All you need to do is just flip your paper over, line up the line of reflection again, and then there are the points right there. So you can do it that way too. You can just flip the paper over that line of reflection. So line of reflection, and then flip it over and line up the line of reflection again, and then now you can trace your points that way too. Okay, so that absolutely works. Yes?
So when we're tracing it, or when we fold it, after we fold it, when it's over, do the three dots will be traced on the other side?
Yes. Yes.
Because when I did it, I got it in the middle of the square.
So make sure you're tracing accurately, because it should, But here's another thing we can do too, guys. We can also count here. For example, if you look, B, that's like kind of one diagonal box away from the line of reflection. And then if I go one diagonal box in the opposite direction, there's B prime right there. Okay? C is 1.5 boxes away. Or sorry, not 2.5 boxes away. So 1/2, 1, and 2. There's where C prime should be right there. Okay? So you can also count the boxes to help you too, do those reflections. Okay? So lots of options. And then the last option that we have for reflections are these things. I'll show you one more here. Yeah, if you want to go ahead. I would say just, go ahead. Okay. The last option we're going to do here is pass out. We're going to use these tools, and they're called miras. M-I-R-A. M-I-R-A. Okay, it's like you're saying mirror with a Boston accent. Use the mirror. Okay. So we're going to use the mirror here on on the top of page 75, letter B here, okay? So the next page over, we're going to use this mirror. I hope I should have enough for everyone.
Give me one though. Come on now.
All right.
Let's try.
All right. So once you get your mirror, here's how we're going to reflect for part B here. In order to reflect using the mirror, you got to turn we're going to turn our book here a little bit because it's kind of better that way, okay? So we're going to rotate our book so that I'll post it to the Google Classroom because I think we will, yes. Can you check the Google Classroom? Is that okay? Yeah. All right. Because I want to see how far we get first before I give an assignment. I don't want to give an assignment where, Okay, so here's how we're going to use this mirror. You'll notice, first of all, to use this tool correctly, all right, you'll notice that there's kind of a top and a bottom to it here, Okay, so like, I'll show on the video here. This is the top of the mirror, this is the bottom of the mirror. I know that because it's got this kind of beveled edge. Alright, this edge is what you're going to be lining up. You want the beveled edge to face you, and you're going to line the mirror up on top of your line of reflection. Okay, like so. It's kind of hard to see, but there it is. I've lined up on top. The line was there. We're on letter B on page 75. The line's there. Okay, so put it on that line of reflection. Now, if you look into the mirror, you can see the reflection of A and B in the mirror. And so then use your pencil, hold the mirror in place. I like to press down on it firmly here. Okay, and you can see B, so I'm going to put a point for B right there, and then look at the reflection of A, and then just put your hand behind it and draw the A. Okay, and they should line up. There it is. Alright, so that's B prime, that's A prime. So we're literally doing reflection. Now, where does C prime reflect to? It's the line again. Yeah, it's the line itself, so we don't need to draw anything for that. Okay, and so there they are. Alright, and the other neat thing about the mirrors that's not really important mathematically or anything like that, but if you look through the mirror at the board, it makes red letters disappear. Kind of interesting. Yeah. So filters out the red, so it makes those red letters disappear. It's kind of neat. And I don't know why it does that. This is the same plexiglass that Cyclops uses to protect his eyes so he doesn't sing and shoot people. Well, do you see the red disappear? Yeah, it completely disappears. So I know, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. Oh, you had trouble, Mitch, too? All right, so again, let me go one more time here. So you put your mirror down on the line of reflection. You want the edge to be facing you. So you can see the reflection of ABC in the mirror. Yeah, that. Draw a point. You're right. So the mirror is nice. Okay, mirror is nice.
Can you just flip it so we can see what yours is?
Yep. So please, guys, on 5 and 6, go ahead at the bottom of the page there, use patty paper, count, or use the mirror, and go ahead and do 5 and 6, please. Go ahead and do 5 and 6. Go ahead and try 5 and 6. It's kind of nice. Yeah, it does. When it's colder out, students put their hands in front of it.
That is kind of hard, though, because she's right to get it exactly lined up.
Yeah, well, you got to be careful with it, but you get an idea about, Yeah, I think the patty paper is probably my favorite way to do it because it's just more precise.
I don't like that.
You don't like the patty paper? Well, that's your opinion, I guess. Yeah. That's okay. That's good. That's fine. You don't have to like it. Yeah, you can, and that's so. I will never on a test require you to use one or the other. You can use whichever one you prefer, which is the good news.
Did it work out then?
All right, it's your decision. Some people like using the mirrors. Some people like using patty paper.
Wait, on the test, are we using?
You may use the mirrors or the patty paper. That's your choice.
Oh, but you're right. I guess that just works. And then like you flip it to the other side?
Number 6 kind of weird.
6 is kind of weird. We'll talk about that one.
Alright, so we have to try and move on to 6, and we're like, what?
Right. You can use patty paper, yeah. I would suggest using patty paper for number 6. I would suggest using patty paper for number 6. The mirror, you can use it still, but you'll see there's a little bit of a difference here. It's kind of weird. Number 6 is a little bit different. But you can still do it. I bet you guys can figure it out. Good. Good, good, good.
What? I didn't get her, she was like, you know, they can't come to that, that's on. So it's like really.
Yes.
Number 6, would you just, like, for using the pen?
Yes.
So, you trace, yeah, okay, so no, I would say trace it, and then you can just flip it over and then transfer the point. So, trace the arrows, and the line, and then A, B, C, and then just flip the paper over, and you'll see, it'll match up real good.
That's fine, I'm fine with that, but I just say.
Oh, you look
in.
No, I'm
It's not the same anymore.
Now you gotta do, second for guys.
What?
All right, guys, real quick, because we're running out of time. We gotta move on. I'm sorry, I didn't give you quite enough time there. So I'm gonna show you that. Yes. Okay. So number 6. Let's talk about 5 first. Make sure everyone's okay with 5. There's 5. Okay. We all okay with number 5?
I'll do it fine.
We're good with 5. No questions there. Now, 6 is unique. All right, because the line of reflection goes right up through the middle of the shape. So A, B, where will they reflect to? To the right. Where's C going to reflect to? To the left. So, I took my patty paper here, okay, and I've marked up A, B, and C and the line of reflection. And now all you have to do, like Eli said, is just flip that paper over, line back up the line of reflection so the arrows match up, and then you can just transfer. There's where C went to right there. There's where B went to, and there's where A went to. So you can see that the shape kind of like, it kind of flipped on itself there. And so, yeah, there's your homework, folks. Please make sure you take a piece of patty paper home with you because you're going to need that patty paper for the homework, okay? So page 81, numbers 1 through 8, please. Page 81, numbers 1 through 8. There it is.